forum. Altogether, 12 countries have participated in this forum. The 12 countries all proposed a question to me, that is, the export trade of Asia in the post-crisis era will continue or not. As I am the Chinese representatives, so other people thought that this post-crisis era and these Asian countries can recover from the post-crisis era is mainly because Chinese import growth. They give me a data and calculation. Since 2001, Chinese entry into WTO, Chinese annual import volume reached $700 billion per year. Compared to Asia and African regions, more, and create 14 million jobs in Africa and Asia. So according to our own national estimate, every 1% of economic growth in China and the middle income countries' income will raise 0.34%, including the Asian countries.
And African countries can enjoy a growth rate of 2%. So finally, we got to the conclusion. The Singapore meeting hopes that China will enhance its exports in post-crisis era. And 2 days ago, I got back from Japan, and we had in-depth discussions with the Japanese friends. The growth of Japan recently is quite rapid, even faster than Europe and America, because the Central Bank of Japan, the president and vice president told me, because Japan now just paying more attention to this kind of investment from China, and also recent years, Japan has increased its export to China by double digits. So now the international market now still driven by China's exports. And this will help some African countries and developing countries to increase their imports. So I think, and possibly you got a question now, in the coming 10 years, China's exports, what will be China's exports in the coming 10 years? And I think that in the coming 10 years, that is the post-crisis era, China's exports is the key era for China's exports. The first thing, maybe you don't know, China itself, in the period of rapid foreign trade growth, now we have increasing trade surplus, and also we have a pressure for revaluation of RMB, and have increasing number of trade frictions, and also we suffer from the depletion of natural resources. So now we must change the pattern of our exports. Second, next, and I think China's exports, we must target the high-end market. That means some products with a very high technology content, and also some service products, especially outsourcing, service outsourcing. Third, we hope that through our forum, we can do three things. First, we'll continue, including in America, just now Mr. Broadman got a very good comment. That means we should have the free and open policy. That means the free trade. Some countries now just want to withdraw from this policy. I don't think that's the right thing, because it's an irreversible trend. We should push forward the liberalization of trade and investment. We should be strongly against any form of protectionism, and we should work together to keep this momentum of recovery of world trade. And also, I quite agree with Mr. Davis. We should continue the Doha rounds, especially to find a mechanism for the South-South cooperation. And our trade with African countries within 5 years has increased by 2 times. That is from 1 billion to 10 billion. We just spent 10 years. From 1990 to 2000, but from 2000, that is 10 billion, which is only 8 years. Now we got 100 billion. And our trade with Africa, I can think, is growing fastest. So be it developing countries or developed countries, African countries, nation countries, we should have a fair and equal economic and trading order. And all the developed countries, including European Union and America, you should help the developing countries to realize full and rapid development and finally realize the balance in the international economy. That will be the guarantee for sustainable development of the world economy. So we hope that through today's platform, we can help obtain the goal of Millennium Goal set by the United Nations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wei. Protectionism coming up there again. I'm sure we'll be discussing that during the Q&A. Ambassador Martier, can I hand to you, please?
Thank you, Bill. I'm delighted to be part of such an influential panel. I'll be focusing my comments on 2 issues. Firstly, what I believe are the important elements of the ongoing changes in the global trading system. And secondly, what kind of challenges developing countries will confront in the medium term in order to sustain this growth process. I will be speaking largely from an Indian perspective, but I'm sure many of these issues have a resonance across the developing world. The global trading system is clearly witnessing deep structural changes, most notably in the directions of trade flows. While the current crisis may have led to an acceleration of these changes, it is not their cause. The genesis lies in the changes in competitiveness that have been taking place around the world, especially over the last 3 decades. It is not a coincidence that this period broadly coincides with the mainstreaming of China into the global economy. During this period, the emergence of China as a competitive producer across a range of export sectors has redefined the nature of global commerce. But the current crisis has served to highlight the problems related to export-led growth, especially when it is fueled by debt-based consumption. Let me list out some of the broad aspects of the changes that are taking place. Firstly, with the continuing sluggishness in demand in developed countries, it is clear that a new dynamism in global trade will come from developing countries. While major economies like the US continue to send protectionist signals, the latest being more stringent visa norms for skilled professional workers in the recently enacted Border Security Bill, the emerging economies have mostly resumed their pre-crisis growth trajectories. India is likely to grow at around 8.5% this fiscal year. Traditionally, India's growth is driven by domestic consumption. Even in China's case, there are indications that domestic consumption is increasingly providing the growth impetus. These developments, while providing fresh blood to the decoupling hypothesis, are leading to significant changes in the direction of global trade flows. Increasingly, trade between developing countries is setting the tone for global trade growth. Already, intra-Asian trade is the